So, in the first day of NFL free agency, the Saints made a small move for a big man in trading for defensive tackle Davon Godchaux. They ended the day with a re signing of Chase Young and an extension on Nathan Shepard. Let's talk about it now. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. So, the first move of the day was the trade with New England Patriots for veteran defensive tackle Davon Godchaux. He's listed 6'3, 330 pounds, 30 years old. This will be his ninth year in the NFL. And the contract we traded for is 2 years left on it. $5 million this year, $4 million of which is guaranteed, $8.5 million in 2026, none of which is guaranteed. So you're on the hook for $4 to $5 million this year. You gave up a seventh round pick for him. Not necessarily a bad deal, I don't think. Is it a blockbuster trade? No. Is he an all-pro? No. Is he a guy you can build your defensive line around? Not so much. But what he is a good veteran player against the run. I'm going to pop a little quick couple plays of film and kind of show you what I'm talking about in a minute. But it's a good guy against the run and has the ability to play multiple spots across the defensive line, including straight up over the center. If you're going to run some type of 3-4 odd man front, he can get down into the play in the gaps, the A and the B gap, can line up heads up on a guard or a tackle and do some damage there. What he brings you is a guy that knows how to get under pad levels of the offensive lineman, can hold his ground, can push him around a little bit, can move parallel to the line of scrimmage, kind of play the piano with him and get down to the outside if he has to. He's a good tackler, just a solid guy against the run. And look, quite frankly, we have been far from solid against the run the last 2 years, especially last year. In fact, we've been kind of bad at it. He's lined up basically over the tackle. This is pretty much a standard kind of 4-3 look. But what he does do is get in on that offensive lineman. He stands him up. He closes the gap, closes the hole in the gap in the line of scrimmage, sticks through there and makes the tackle. And that's kind of right there what he's known for. Very similar. He's lined up again in basically the same spot. This time it's a wide run. In 77, the offensive lineman he was lined up heads up on. He's got control of him. He's got an arm free. He's moved down the line of scrimmage, kind of what back in the day we used to call playing the piano. Just walks down with him down the line of scrimmage into the running back. And again, makes the tackle. That's the kind of play he's known for. Here he's lined up zero tech. They get a little more of a odd front here look, and he is head up with the center having to deal with him on a pass rush. And again, does a great job getting under pad level, gets a hand free, gets some penetration from this angle. Because he's able to get his hands free, he jumps up and knocks the ball down. This is another zero tech look on a running play. And he's kind of hard to see in here, but he's right up about where you see the word zero tech. But he's in that nose. He is fighting through a mass of bodies, holds his ground, gets under there and makes the tackle. You can see him right there laying on the ground, number 92. Held him a yard. Again, getting under pad levels, not being driven back, being able to hold his ground, fill up that hole. And then when he's get his hands free, he can get to the running back. Very good tackler. This one, he's lined up closer to the tackle. He's kind of in the tackle guard gap, the B gap. And this is very similar to what you would see in a traditional 3-4 look. And if you look, they have 3 down linemen and then 2 outside guys looking like they're coming. So this is more of a Brandon Staley standard look. And he does a tremendous job against the run here. So he's locked up with 55, gets off of him, just swallows the running back in the hole for no gain. And we're going to show a different angle of it here, where right here they're locked up. And what you're going to see is he gets underneath the pad level of 55, and he is going to spin him, get his hands free, get on the running back, and shut him down. I mean, that is literally what you're looking for in a run-stopping defensive tackle, who can play multiple spots along the line, something the Saints have badly needed. Like I said earlier, it's not going to be an all-pro. He's not the guy you want to build your defense around, but he gives us help. And kind of the hope is his technique, maybe Bo Davis, our new defensive line coach, who's really good about teaching technique, can get in and build our other defensive linemen, especially on the interior, more into the mold of what he was doing there. And look, hold your ground, get off blocks, get your arms around running backs, ball carriers in general, get them to the ground while still being able to play side to side. Differences between him and, say, Brzee or Shepard or even Binky Saunders comes back for another year. They are the type that can kind of also shoot gaps, get in the backfield, make tackles by the line of scrimmage, be able to sack the quarterback, get some pressures. Not really his game in Godchaux, but the way he plays, he's the type of big man along controlling that line of defensive line of scrimmage like he's doing, helps open up spots for those guys. So while they need to also improve defensively against the run, and look, I've been banging that drum for a while now, he's a guy that can do it, and also in the process help them out. Short-term solution at best. That contract that I just rattled off to, he's here 2025. There's even no guarantees 2026, and it's not that difficult for them to get out, for the Saints to get out from under that. So there's almost zero risk involved in this with a 7th-round pick. So I don't even know if you'd call it a gamble. If it is, though, it's a pretty good one. I think you have the odds in your favor. You can at least get one more year of what you really, really need on this defensive line from him. We'll see how that one turns out. But I kind of like this one. I doubt seriously you could get a quality. I don't want to say seriously. It's difficult to use a 7th-round pick and get a quality player with his experience. Well, definitely not with his experience, but a quality player at his level down there that you only really need for one. And if he's got another year left in him, you do have the contract even then available to work something out and keep him around for 2026. So don't hate this move. Rather kind of like it. Didn't cost us too much, either in draft capital or money. The next one is the re-signing of Chase Young. This one's an interesting one. It's 3-year deal. This just found this out a few minutes ago, right before I sat down to make this video, but it was re-signing 3-year deal, $51 million. Adam Schefter was reporting it could be worth up to $57 million, but basically he's right in that $17 million range that Spotrac and other sites had him as is what his market value was going to be. Seems like there he was. Thing is, they got edge guys, even excluding Myles Garrett, that are getting massively big contracts. This one, you're not tied into him too long. You're giving him a significant amount of money, but to get any type of even a projected edge rusher, and that's what he is right now because he really hasn't stacked together solid seasons year after year. This one's a bit more of a gamble. If we get the production out of him, it's a great deal. If we don't, it's not. It comes that simple. And are we going to get the production out of him? History says, maybe not. But it is what it is at this point. Part of this is also, quite honestly, we were talking about the voided year contracts. His contract was voided on Wednesday when the league opened, and that was going to be another $9 million of dead money hitting the cap. He was 9 of the 17.4. We just took that 9 off the table because he does have a contract now. He's no longer voided. We'll see the exact terms and conditions, but it's going to be a big signing bonus. It's not going to be much of a cap hit this year, I don't think, but it will be more dead money down the line, obviously. I'm a little leery of this one, but I don't know if you could have did any better. In fact, you probably almost couldn't have done any better in free agency. We'll see how this one turns out, but this one is a much bigger question mark than the trade for Godchaux. The last one is they did extend Nathan Shepard. They gave him another year. I still have not seen terms on that. This is likely a little bit of a salary cap move, creating a little more space, keeping him around for another year. I think Shepard's solid, and as long as the money isn't stupid, are a massive amount of additional dead money hit when we do move on from him, because much like Godchaux, he's 30 post 30 by the time the season ends. In fact, he's a little older. So they're giving him that extra year, which would basically, you gave him 2026. It's a lot like Godchaux. You got them both for a year. You may or may not have them next year. You not likely won't have them by 2027. So maybe a good little filler move. And probably, I am guessing until we see the terms and we know for sure that this is a little bit more about cap savings than anything else, because he was going to be on the roster anyway unless you cut him. So that's kind of the three moves. I'm doing this one almost 10 o'clock at night. On Monday night, I don't think anything else. The Chase Young thing kind of broke, and it sounds like that's what they were working on most of the day, once they got the other stuff kind of figured out. Paulson Adebo was signed for a big contract with the Giants. I believe it was $54 million, if I remember right, for 3 years, $36 million of it guaranteed. So kind of out of our range, especially if we were wanting to sign Chase Young to what we had to sign him to. And pretty sure Chase Young probably precludes maybe even any more big moves in free agency, although smaller moves may come in. They may have one more left in them, depending on how much more restructuring they want to do to create more cap space to be able to be a player. So I don't know how active they're going to be tomorrow, rolling into when the league opens on Wednesday. But it seems like they concentrated on the defensive line. The only other thing that was thrown out there on Twitter is a rumor that they couldn't match for Adebo. They went after Charvarius Ward, a cornerback for San Francisco, who's a free agent who was signed by Indy. I'm sure we'll hear more on that, whether that was actually true or if that's just one of the kind of rumors that as many moves were made today in free agency plus trades and other stuff. There was 10 times that of probable BS rumor stuff also flying around. So I don't know which category that falls in, but just pointing out that we may have tried to be more active than we were, and we just lost out on a player. So that's where we stand now. Try to keep up with this as much as I can, but man, it's wild and crazy. But definitely as far as what's going to affect the Saints and what they try to do over the next 24 to 36 hours, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll pop in whenever there's something that needs to be talked about. So on that one, make sure your notifications are hit. And if you can't hit your notification because you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, then hit the notification, thumbs up, and give me the comments on the bottom. Probably seeing you at some point. I'm thinking over the next 36 hours, at least one more time. So until then, I'm Tim. Peace out and who dat.